Last time on the WizardCast.
So, Brian, did you ever figure out who booked Parker Harris on our show?
I have not.
Are you sure it wasn't you?
You know, you're not the first person to accuse me of such things.
What things? Forgetting key events and losing track of your own actions in the haze of your own mind?
My honor shall not stand impugned. I shall travel the world to find the real culprit and clear my name.
Wait, what?
Yes, even if it means I must leave my home and traverse this land and search for the person that truly performed this deed.
Okay, yeah, sure. And where are you going to look first?
Funny you should ask.
And now the conclusion of the WizardCast.
I'm Brian Kwong.
And I'm Mark Ross.
We're Salesforce experts that love talking about technology and Salesforce.
We also love humor. Doesn't mean we're actually good at it.
In the Salesforce community, I'm known as the Salesforce Wizard, likely due to me wearing a wizard hat at Salesforce events.
And I'm known as Salesforce Yoda for pretty much the same reason.
You should see the ears.
We have a passion to help educate and entertain people.
So we've joined forces to create WizardCast.
We've got tips and best practices.
We talk with interesting people.
All mixed with quote-unquote jokes and humor.
Welcome to the WizardCast. This is Brian Kwong. I am live before the main keynote at Dreamforce 2019. And Mark's not here with me today, which is a shock. Well, it's not a shock if you listen to the previous episode, because we told everyone that. But today, I'm walking around and I'm asking people what do they hope to hear out of the keynote, what they expect, and is there anything that they absolutely do not want to hear. Later on, I'm going to be talking and we'll kind of do a retrospect about the keynote and what we thought actually was said. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you got feedback, we'd love to hear from you at thewizardnews.com. You can post a comment on the page, or you can share a review on Apple Podcasts, as well as simply leave us a voice message, and you can find the phone number within the show notes.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Jean-Michel Mougeot. I'm a Salesforce MVP as well as the CEO of CRM Basics. We do images in Salesforce. And I'm super excited to be at Dreamforce once again. It's going to be my 10th Dreamforce this year.
10th? That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be super, super cool.
So we're right here before the keynote. What are you hoping to hear today?
So I hope to hear more about what you have between other companies and Salesforce, such as Apple and the others, try to understand what is going on in this area, because I think that it may change a lot of things on the platform, so we need to hear that a little more.
What do you think you're actually going to hear for sure?
For sure. We're going to hear about Apple, just because they have just
the big
launched it out.
Yes.
Yeah. And it started with a Trailhead app. So it's just a start. So
right.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to talk about that.
Is there anything you hope that they definitely don't say today?
Too much of Lightning. We know about Lightning, but when you say Lightning that, it's everything is Lightning at least.
It's a brand.
Yeah,
it's a brand.
It's a brand, exactly.
Hey there, this is Susan Thayer, live from the keynote.
Woo! Keynote!
Keynote! Yeah, it's finally happening in 2 hours.
Well, that's why I'm podcasting. It passes the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, excited to see all the mascots, and got some pictures with them. Can't wait to hear the keynote.
What are you hoping to hear?
Personally, I want to see him say a lot more about some of the functionalities and features that'll make it very easy to administer and manage Salesforce.
Is there anything you absolutely expect that you're going to hear today?
No, it's always a surprise what they will share. I would love it if they said there was ice cream in the back of the keynote, because that would be a nice treat about lunchtime.
That would be a mad rush for ice cream.
Yes.
All right, is there anything at all you hope you do not hear today?
That I do not hear? That we've gone over time.
That's fair.
Because it's supposed to end at lunchtime. And
that's a fair request, yeah.
Yo. Hi.
Is that how you're going to introduce yourself? It's just, yo, I did say you could do anything, but maybe your name?
I thought that was a test. My name is David Liu. I'm Salesforce MVP here with Brian, and I work at Google as a technical architect, and I love Salesforce.
So, David, what are you hoping to hear today during today's keynote?
You know, I'm waiting for the next big thing, you know? I feel like there was Lightning, there was Einstein. Some keynotes, you get great stuff, and sometimes, you know, it's just like a year where there's not much innovation, I feel like. I hope this is a good year.
Okay. Is there something you're absolutely expected to hear today?
Oh, man. Maybe more on blockchain, which I don't believe in.
You don't believe blockchain exists, or that it's a functional solution?
Both.
David is not a blockchain leader. Is there anything you absolutely hope they do not say during today's keynote?
Blockchain. All right, no more ragging on blockchain. You know, I've heard rumors that there's like a rebranding going on
of Salesforce.
Yeah, so we had Lightning, then we had Einstein, and maybe some 360 thing. That's too much for me.
So you think all the other brands might go out the window and everything's going to be customer 360?
Yeah, you know, I'm old school. I still like Lightning. It's funny, Lightning's kind of old school now.
Yeah, you know what my problem was with customer 360?
What?
When I first heard that, I was wondering, doesn't it just not work for 5 days of the year?
Oh, you know, I didn't think of that, but
it took me a while to figure out the angle of that. It was pretty obtuse.
So should they rebrand next year to customer 365 or? I don't know.
Hey, I'm Gary Palmatier, a.k.a. Darth Gary, Salesforce MVP, Salesforce consultant, and woodchopper.
So what do you hope to hear during today's keynote?
Really what I hope to hear and I enjoy hearing the most of is the amazing work that Salesforce continues to do with nonprofits. I think that their nonprofit contribution is a leader in the world, and I hope that other industries hear what they have to say and take copy that.
Is there anything you absolutely expect they're going to say during today's keynote?
I expect that Mark Benioff's voice will still oscillate between octaves when he gets excited, and I love that because it's infectious.
Okay, is there anything you hope that will absolutely not be said today?
I do not think that they're going to talk about pricing of any of the cool stuff they're going to announce, and that will evolve over time.
And in 2 years, we'll find it completely changed, right?
It's possible.
Hi, I'm Roy Gilad, founder of Arnav, which is a Salesforce add-on to Salesforce that will manage subscriptions.
What are you hoping to hear today?
Well, what I do hope to hear today is that Mark will inspire us. I mean, that's what he usually does.
You're looking for some inspiration.
I'm looking for inspiration because that's what Mark does. He inspires people. However, I don't expect to hear something exciting. I mean, it's always exciting to be in the keynote.
Right.
But usually, things that they announce in the keynotes is being only implemented like 3 years after that.
Or for the most part, we've already kind of saw the formal announcement, right, Breyer?
Yeah, I mean, okay. we saw the announcements. So probably, I'm guessing, they will announce a few of the AWS and Salesforce.
So you're not expecting anything new and earth-shattering?
I don't.
No, at least not during the keynote.
No, during the keynote, I expect to be a lot of enthusiasm. But usually, what they do is that they wrap up stuff that was already announced and just formalize it better and in a coherent way.
Is there anything you do not want to hear today?
Well, probably I don't want to hear another cloud.
Another cloud?
Yes, another announcement of the cloud, because there are already too many clouds, and to be a full-stack Salesforce is now really hard because you can't be savvy in all technology.
All right, Ray, pop quiz. How fast can you name all the Salesforce clouds?
Wow. Let's see. Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Service Cloud, Manufacturing Cloud, Health Cloud.
Financial Services.
Financial Services Cloud. Manufacturing
Cloud.
What else do we have? Integration Cloud, which is MuleSoft. We've got the Integration Cloud, Tableau.
And we're stumbling, and I'm pretty sure there's at least one more.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Joanne Iturby, Salesforce MVP, Vice Chair Higher Ed Advisory Council, leader of the Denver Community Group. And I am stoked to be here at the keynote. What is this, my third year as MVP here at the keynote?
That's great.
All right, so I hope to hear more about Customer 360, but like the real stuff about Customer 360, like what technology is behind it, not
you expect
like...
to hear that at a keynote?
I hope to
You
hear
hope.
it at a keynote. This
All right,
is my
that's fair.
hope.
That's fair.
What I expect to hear is Customer 360 everything, to where then I have to go back and explain to everyone
What Customer 360
right,
is.
the smoke and the fog and the mirrors. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
Luckily, I got to talk to Patrick Stokes yesterday. He's SVP for Customer 360 and all that. So I feel like I'm more well prepared to answer
You should
those
do an introduction
questions.
so we can have him on the podcast.
Absolutely, I will.
And is there anything you do not want to hear today?
I do not want to hear that Fleetwood Mac is the only band tomorrow night.
What's wrong with Fleetwood Mac?
No, I like them, like 3 or 4 songs of theirs, but I would love to have more.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Hi, I'm Jason Atwood, co-founder of Arcus, and you're asking me what?
Well, first off,
Yep.
Jason, don't you have some small little podcast with a handful of episodes?
Oh, Cloudfocus Weekly. Yes, you stepped up to me with your podcasting mic here, and I was very impressed. But then you tried to throw in the fact that you have over 100 episodes. I'm like, well, we have over 300, but over 100 is good, though. I've always said I won't pay attention to any podcast until I get over 100 episodes.
Well, we go by quality, not quantity.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we're going to at least try to get at least one a month this year.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Maybe. Well, Cloudfocus Weekly it has an asterisk now. We did put an asterisk next to the weekly in the logo. So, weekly is like a thing that we maybe
weekly,
do.
We didn't
Yeah.
say on what planet the week is.
Right, we didn't say. Right.
So, Jason, is there anything you hope to hear during today's keynote?
Hope to hear? I was just having this conversation. I've been to my 13th Dreamforce, and so I really like the marketing stuff. Is not interesting. I actually want to hear more about their nonprofit stuff. I thought the one they did like 5 years ago, where they started with that 35-minute presentation about the foundation and what they were doing. That's what I want them to focus on. So every time I'm like, what do I want to hear? I want to hear more about how they're helping, how they're changing the world, how they're doing that. That's what I want to hear about.
Is there anything you absolutely expect you're going to hear today?
I expect I'm going to hear about Astro a lot and trailblazing, and
this is not the keynote to do a keynote drinking game.
No. It's going to be a lot of marketing stuff. I think they're going to bring out a lot of different speakers, and they're going to do 3 customer stories, and that's the stuff I expect to hear.
Is there anything you hope absolutely that you do not hear today?
Let's see. The year that they did the Coca-Cola was brought in by a drone, and they did the yacht sales. So, I don't want to hear that again. Let's see. What do I want to hear?
The Coca-Cola by the drone.
Oh, my God. That was supposed to... Anyway.
I took a video of it. It actually got a lot of hits on my YouTube.
No. What do I not want to hear? I don't want to hear about price increases.
Oh.
I don't want to
ever talk about pricing.
I don't want to hear about a product that I won't see for 2 years. That's what I don't want to see. I don't want to hear about a product I won't see for 2 years.
You don't want to hear about customer myopic?
I don't want to hear about my something that literally won't come out for 2 years. Sorry, a little
That's
shade
fair.
towards through my trailhead.
I mean, it's a hype thing at a keynote. That's kind of the
yeah,
whole point. Right?
I'm more of I liked it when it was when what you got was what you got. Like they used to be they'd announce something
back in my day,
and then they'd say, and here it was, like, oh, it's on your phone, it's trying now, it's a product, go test it. As opposed to here's this big thing, right? I don't mind vision. I love vision. Give me vision about where the world's going, where's software going. But when a product side, I don't like the pre-announcement that's 2 years in advance. I'd rather just have real physical things I can go play in the campground, and that'll be out, let's call it, spring 20. Like spring 20, fine. I'm in for spring 20, but not like 5 years.
22.
Not for 5 years from now. Yeah.
That's fair.
So I'm hoping to hear this year during the keynote that we're going to see some pretty innovative things coming out of Salesforce that are actionable right away. I'm expecting to see a lot of stuff that's somewhat actionable, but also a lot of visionary things, because that's kind of the norm. I'm kind of dreading seeing another story from a huge corporation that it's not exactly attainable for most of the people in the crowd.
You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, I should have introduced myself first, but I didn't want to, in case you want to cut that out. But Justin Edelstein with Arcus. Cloudfocus Weekly. Cloudfocus whenever.
Yeah, Cloudfocus whenever. You may have 300 episodes, but let's face it, I still post every other one.
I know, but you know what?
Every other week.
There's an asterisk now in the logo next
saw
to
that.
Weekly.
That's hilarious.
So that was of my doing because my partner won't let me change it to whenever.
Nice. Thank you very much, Justin.
All right, no problem.
Hi, I'm Jen Bowen. I am a Salesforce MVP. At today's Dreamforce keynote, I am expecting to hear more about Customer 360. I am hoping to hear maybe a little more about Financial Services Cloud, even though that's very specific.
It is very specific.
Very specific, but I'm hoping that some of the customers, maybe that they have, might talk a little bit more about, their specifics, what they're doing. And then I'm dreading to hear all of the, gosh, that's a hard one, actually.
Well, okay, here, I'll tell you, because Freya Turnbull, right? So my name is Brian Kwong. I am the co-star of the WizardCast podcast and a Salesforce MVP. And I'm hoping to hear a lot more about not just Customer 360, but anything that Mark could tease out about what's coming in the near future. I am expecting that I'm going to hear, thank you for all our trailblazers, here's some great volunteers, here's our vet force and the monastics and everything that happens every keynote.
Forward-looking statement. Expect to hear forward-looking statement.
And I'm absolutely dreading to hear that Mark says, I'm stepping down as the CEO and selling the company to Oracle.
Yeah, that would be devastating. Let's not do that today.
Hello.
What? Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Marisa Hamilton, out of Phoenix, Arizona, Cactus Force community organizer, developer group leader.
What do you hope to hear out of today's keynote?
I hope to hear about a lot of new product announcements.
Okay. Is there anything you absolutely think they're going to say today?
So I always enjoy the inspiration that comes along with a keynote from Mark Benioff.
Okay. And is there anything you definitely do not want to hear?
Nothing political.
Nothing political. Okay, that's a fair statement in this day and age. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm Deepa Patel. I work for Sierra Cedar. I'm a senior Salesforce consultant, MVP since 2012, and I'm here with my wonderful friend, Brian Kwong.
Oh, you're flatterer. Okay, so is there anything you hope or expect to hear during the keynote today?
Honestly, I have no expectations.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. I'm coming with a blank slate. I do know that Mark always has something exciting to,
inspire you and get you hyped up.
He always introduces something new. So I have a feeling that this time we might see something about AI at its next level.
Okay.
Than just Einstein analytics. It's probably going to be a lot more about how AI can be embedded more with our day-to-day lives with retail and...
Like the new Einstein search that they released, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything you absolutely do not want them to say during today's keynote?
I don't want them going backwards.
What do you mean by that?
Like...
We're going to release the spring 2018 release again for fun?
Uh-huh. No. It's like I would love to see them kind of do a combination of upgrading what's existing along with introducing new stuff and not kind of go like, okay, we're retiring this just because we need to innovate and go further. It's like you can't retire everything either.
And so I think that's great, Deepa. I also heard this rumor that you wrote a book.
I wrote a book, yes.
What's the name of the book?
It is called oh my God, you're putting me on the spot.
You can't remember your own book's title? Wow.
It's Beyond CRM Basics, an MVP guide to expand your knowledge and grow your career. It's on Amazon. Go look it up.
Links in the show notes.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Germain. I'm 15 years old, I'm from France, and I'm a golden hoodie.
Yeah, the youngest Trailblazer golden hoodie, I think, in the world.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so is there anything you're hoping to hear out of today's keynote?
I hope to meet amazing Trailblazers, amazing people, and I think it's going to be amazing.
Okay, anything you're absolutely expecting that they say? No is a perfectly acceptable answer. You don't have to be expecting something.
Yeah, I do expect something. I expect to meet people and to live this Dreamforce as much as I can.
Okay. Anything you do not want to hear?
Mad people.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations on the good and
Thank
hoodie.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Hey there, Brian.
Hi.
I'm very excited to be here. I'm Adam Olshansky, Salesforce MVP and developer at Google.
And you may remember him because he did an excellent episode about certifications a while back, and there'll be a link in the show notes if you haven't heard it.
All right, yeah, definitely happy to be back, and
Yes.
always happy to support the WizardCast.
So we're here before the keynote starts. Is there anything you're hoping to hear?
Yeah, I'm hoping to hear what the latest and greatest tools are. Always love when Salesforce gives me more fun toys to play with.
Okay. Anything you are absolutely expecting that they say?
Expecting they say, I'm guessing we're going to hear the words Customer 360 quite a bit.
Yeah, I said this before, but this is not the keynote to do the keynote drinking game.
That's a very good point.
Not if you want to be sober at the end of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Anything you definitely do not want them to hear?
I do not want to hear any more rumors about Salesforce being acquired by pretty much anybody. I like them being on their own.
I heard they were being acquired by Oracle, but that's probably because I said it.
I heard them being acquired by Google because I said it, so...
We're starting rumors. It's fun. If you have a rumor that you would like to make up about Salesforce, send it in. You can call us. The phone number's in the show notes.
All right, thanks so much, Brian.
Hi, I'm Toya Tate, Salesforce MVP and employee at Slalom DC.
And what do you hope to hear out of today's keynote?
What I'm hoping to hear is something really inspirational from Mark because we need it desperately.
Is there something you definitely expect that you're going to hear?
All about Customer 360.
All about, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Is there something you definitely hope they do not say today?
That Mark is going to step down from Salesforce and go into politics.
Oh, last year, Dale Ziegler and I were going back and forth in 2016 thinking that he was getting ready for a presidential run because he was wearing the American flag pin on his coat. And the things he was saying sounded like someone who's about to announce their run for president.
They do. Yeah, I heard him at a luncheon in D.C. a couple weeks ago, and he said he's definitely not interested in politics, which is what everybody says when they actually are.
And usually right before they announce, they always publish a book.
Exactly.
Did Mark publish a book recently?
He did publish a book recently.
Called Trailblazer or something like that?
Yeah, and I think we all got copies.
Interesting.
Yeah, something to think about.
So you heard it first. There's speculation that Mark Benioff may be entering the 2020 race for president. On which party? Who could say?
Independent. Or something like that.
That's funny. So I want to hear your reaction. If Mark ran for president, would you vote for him?
I would have to hear his platform first to know if I could support.
And that's fair. And listeners, I want to know your opinion too. You can post a comment onto our website, thewizardnews.com, or leave a voice message for us and tell us what you think. You can find the phone number in the show notes. Chris Zullo, I've heard a rumor that you and Andrea Tarrell are planning to do a Marketing Cloud versus Pardot SmackDown today or sometime during Dreamforce, and that you are thinking about backing out. Is this true?
Absolutely.
Admit it is true. You are not ready to stand behind Marketing Cloud against the Pardot Queen.
Against the Mother of Dragons, I am always ready for that challenge.
I also heard that Andrea has challenged you to a dance-off, and you are also declining that.
I cannot confirm nor deny either.
I have arrived at my first destination. I believe I have found the culprit. Tell me, where were you on the night of the occurrence? The night in question. Admit it, it was you. You booked Parker Harris. You cannot deny it. Your face exudes guilt like a dog that piddled in the slipper. I have you now.
Well, hello to you too, Brian. Are you going up to everyone at Dreamforce and saying hello this way?
Well, no. Well, I did do that to the lady with the Dreamforce backpack and then to you, but not everyone.
Let me guess. You've only talked to 2 people so far.
Yes, but did you book Parker Harris?
No, Brian.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me a moment. You. Yes, you. I know you did it. No denying you did it. Where are you going? Come back here. I'm talking to you.
At least he blends in well.
A hand sandwich walked into the bar and orders a beer. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." You like that?
So terrible, it's good.
Okay, so you probably have guessed it from the title of the podcast, but I am live here with Dreamforce 2019. Mark couldn't be here this year, so I have a new co-host today, and you may recognize his voice from the last time on the WizardCast. It's It's Ben Bolopue.
Say something.
No, Ben, that was a placeholder in the script. You're meant to actually respond to my introduction.
You are terrible with directions. That's fine, though.
Yeah, and of course, that was the script, so that makes it extra funny. So we've walked out. We're outside. We're sitting in the Dream Park, which is between Moscone North and Moscone South. And what did you think of the keynote?
I thought the keynote was actually really nice. It's one of the first years I opted out of going into the keynote room. Kind of caught it from one of the viewing areas. Soup to nuts, there was a lot of exciting stuff. I was especially excited to hear about Einstein's audio.
The telephony thing from the Customer 360?
Yeah. It's like OCR for your voice, you know?
Yeah.
Really cool. The way that they were doing the examples and creating cases right from the dialogue customers were having with their agents were having with their customers, you know, with their concerns.
I want to mention a couple things right at the bat, because every keynote they pick at least one nonprofit type of thing, one thing to fundraise, and this year they have two. One of them is to help Texas vets basically learn Salesforce, and there's an organization called Merivis out there, and if you want to help them out, you can text Merivis, Mervis, to 38767. And then they had the executive director of UN Women. I'm not sure I trust myself to pronounce that name. You want to give it?
Nope.
Famzil Malambo Nguka. I'm so sorry. I'm sure I butchered that. But if you want to help out UN Women, you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 917-924-8065. And you can also check out UN Women at unwomen.org/equality. So should we talk about the big thing?
That was a big, unexpected thing.
So if you weren't watching the keynote live or streaming, the keynote got interrupted 3 times by protesters. The first one was right up front by the stage and was reading from a prepared statement that I could see. Basically just did not stop talking. Mark shut down the keynote and then told him, look, we'll give you 30 minutes or 30 seconds to talk, but after that you have to leave. And he did. They put a clock up and gave him 30 seconds, which, considering the alternatives, right? You just drag the guy off.
Yeah.
I thought was a nice way to handle it.
I don't think that Mark could have handled that any better, really. It was something that I'm sure that they were expecting, you know?
Yes.
For any number of politically charged reasons, but they had the one gentleman that he gave the 30 seconds to that person's credit, they realized that it wouldn't go well for them if they tried to stay longer than 30 seconds.
But he left pretty peacefully.
And they left very peacefully. But to Mark's credit, he handled that as well as you could have.
And his reasons, I mean, the way he stated was he values free speech, and the only way that we could do everything together is if everyone has a voice. And granted, in my opinion, the voice, his opinion matters. Probably not the best place to do it if you want to be taken serious. That's more of getting into the camera's eye, and for people like us to talk about it after the fact.
Oh, absolutely. That was the single worst way, because nobody knows what that guy's points were.
Well, you couldn't hear him because he wasn't on mic, number one.
Yeah.
I could barely hear him, and he was just across the stage from me. And but the gist I got it was, he's upset with the contract with the border protection stuff and the immigration. He mentioned homelessness. So, which are valid concerns and points, but at the same time, Salesforce is a company. But let's move on to actual keynote stuff. So before the keynote, I sat down and talked to a whole bunch of people what they were going to expect and hope and hopefully not hear. One of the things that I believe it was Joanna said she wanted to know another band other than Fleetwood Mac.
Well, okay, so I'm a classic rock fan. I do like some of Fleetwood Mac's music, don't get me wrong. It's been really hit or miss as far as what folks think about the musical selection. Last year was Metallica, and so this year, stark contrast, Fleetwood Mac.
But now Beck is opening.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's a bonus.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part of the keynote, and I'm sorry, Mark and Parker, but this is my favorite part, was they had Alicia Keys come out and play and sing for us 2 songs. and I love Alicia Keys, so that was amazing.
And I'm sure for copyright reasons, they couldn't broadcast Alicia Keys' performance. So those of us in the viewing parties...
Well, I recorded it, so it might be on my YouTube and unmonetized with the appropriate attributions. But, the big thing, and I don't think this was a shock, was a lot about Customer 360 and then the data integrations.
Yep.
And they did something different this year. It was almost more like, instead of here, we're going to show you everything, it was almost like, we're going to show you just enough to try to convince you to come to the keynote for the specific one.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of like the format. It feels weird, but it's a lot better than going 4 hours long.
I totally agree. And after the second segment, and they ended it the exact same way, be sure to go over to this keynote at this place at this time. Okay, then it became abundantly clear what their game plan was. But I agree, it works.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think they missed out on was they had the Einstein smart speaker, right, that they had hooked up to Alexa.
I have so many inappropriate comments about that.
I have many. I mean, his hair lights up. But my point is, I think they missed out because that was the one time when they said they could have had the Einstein speaker basically go say, and if you want to learn more, go to this keynote, and they didn't do it.
No.
I mean, they had done 4 other keynotes. Say, hey, come to this keynote, and then they totally dropped it on that one.
I thought that's what she was doing.
I know.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, but the woman who was operating the bot, I was waiting for that.
I thought the demo was cool, though.
The demo was neat. There were mixed reviews in the area that I was in when they brought out an Einstein doll. Some cringeworthy was one of the things. I heard cringeworthy to, oh, look, it's a little Einstein. I personally, I would have liked to have seen the same demo done on somebody's device. Something a little bit more relatable, because not everybody's going to have the Einstein doll.
Right. Who knows how much they're going to cost. I wonder if you could do it with just a straight-up Alexa or, Mini, Google Mini. The other thing that I kind of wonder is, like, if they're intending it to put that in, inside the boardroom, so to speak, is data privacy, right? There's a lot of organizations out there that don't want to connect to outside services because of security problems.
Well, that's one thing that they absolutely didn't touch on is anybody can ask the thing a question, right?
Right.
So who's to say that there's, the digital voice fingerprint, that will verify it's you, Brian Kwong, or me, Ben Bolopue, that's asking the questions, that's getting answers out of our orgs.
Right. I mean, if you're going to have it queued to a person, do you need to have one for every person that's in the room?
I have a feeling there's a whole lot of that demo that we didn't see that just got cut up due to time.
But then again, it's a keynote.
It's a keynote. But the fact that they didn't touch on security at all
makes me weird. So what else? Yeah. You sent me this huge long list of your notes. Yeah, instead of putting it into the Quip doc like I did.
Yeah, that was actually a shopping list. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was a shopping list?
Yeah, my bad.
That explains why cheese was on the list. I didn't see cheese anywhere in the demo or the keynote.
But it would have been really cool to get some good cheese curds in there. Fried
cheese.
Pickles. Oh, my gosh. The lines were too long for lunch. I didn't get food. Sorry.
I haven't eaten either.
I like we had talked about, they kind of broke down each of the sections by the cloud, right? When they started, I like the way that they got up there with State Farm talking about, getting people from the front line to being in front of customer problems a little bit more directly and having it all data-driven, The whole Customer 360 being a single, reliable place for all employees to go to for anything that's really customer-centric. When they hopped over into Sales Cloud, of course, the first thing out of Mark's mouth was, we're still the number one sales CRM, blah, blah, blah. Okay, onto the more usable version of information was Einstein Audio. They were talking about audio coaching. The Sales Cloud keynote at 11 coming up, that was the first little, there's more information, because I really did want to know more information about that.
It kind of felt like, oh my gosh, not stormtroopers, Star Troopers. The book. What was it?
The parody?
Not the parody. It was a book, and then it was actually an actual movie. Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, yes.
Yes. It kind of felt like Starship Troopers. Do you want to know more?
Yeah.
Tap here if you want to know more.
Well, the Sales Cloud section was so short. I mean, to me, anyways. It kind of felt like one of those little news commercials where they're like, more to follow at 10, tune in at 10 for an additional blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, but I didn't really get anything tangible out of that.
Do you want to know if the thing we just showed you will kill you? Come back in 3 hours.
That's right. Will this anger all of your customers or just most of them? 5 out of 10.
You know, the one thing, and I kind of get it, but the one thing that always frustrates me is that all the demos with actual companies are always these gigantic companies. Right? State
or
Farm.
Unrelatable.
Right. Well, they're unrelatable to
Yeah.
folks that are not gigantic companies.
Yeah. Yeah. Louis Vuitton, I bet you if they'd asked for a show of hands, how many people have actually utilized or purchased Louis Vuitton stuff?
And we're looking at, Barry, put your hand down. No one's raising their hands.
Nobody.
Of course, we're not really asking. We just have a bunch of people walking past us. But, yeah, I mean, I was looking at the demos, like $1,200 for a bag. That's great if you can afford it. I can't afford that.
No.
But, I mean, it's a cool idea. The one thing that kind of makes me, like Brett Taylor was showing off the whole design. Like, how, Einstein is going to go through all the designs on the web to determine, like, how do you show the picture? How do you do this and everything like that? And the thing that kicked me was, you're making the assumption that what's already out there on pages is the best way or the right way to do it. Right? So is that going to actually stifle innovation because no one's going to try to do something different? Instead, they're just going to try to mimic what's already out there.
So I like the concept of using AI to evaluate existing sales posts. Here's a product, here's a brief description, here's the price point, here's where it's found. And then I can only assume that it also evaluates like font and that kind of stuff. And then it looks for all iterations of that wherever it can find them, and it comes back to you with, for some reason, this is the best version or this is the most recommended one to move forward with. Okay, that's neat. I want to learn more about why it tells me that's the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it has, like, you put some inputs in, like all data-driven AI, you have to have some parameters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. And, of course, if we want to learn more, we need to go to a different keynote.
Keynote at 10, yes.
Or 11:30.
Or 11:30.
Yeah.
In some building near us, yeah. So, Marketing Cloud, interactive email. This is one thing that I was like, how did they do that?
Well, they obviously integrated the orders from people to show. I have no idea.
Okay. So
obviously, there's data in there someplace to be able to say, I want to send out an email, and either the email template is such that it's pulling from the information, like they have their own, hey, here's a recommendation, here's what you've already bought. Like the orders could be something that's just like a component in the template.
Right.
Right? But trying to say who should get the email, if they only want to say, only send this email to people who bought that particular shoe, I don't think is what they're doing.
Right.
Right? I think it's a more smart email template that is pulling in data.
Yep.
But how they decided on the belt is versus some other piece of clothing, I don't know. And to be honest, it's a keynote demo, so very likely they did not have that choice in there, and it was just quote-unquote hard-coded into the demo.
I agree. The thing where they basically embedded a form right into the email.
Oh, that was kind of neat.
That was neat, and I don't know how they do it. I mean, knowing a little bit about email, if I'm receiving an email from a company and I open it up and there's an interactive part of it, so there's a video that plays or some animation, or in this case, it's like a web form, where you go through and you make your selections, and then it feeds your selections back over into Salesforce. That's awesome. I'm really curious as to how that's going to play well with various email server security policies.
Sure.
Because they're doing a lot of stuff.
Well, Ben, you know how we can find out.
Well,
go to another keynote.
Another keynote coming at 10 in some building, or maybe it's 11. Oh, that's terrible. I didn't write down the times of any of these keynotes. I really should have.
I took pictures and I tweeted them. So if you're following my Twitter, you already know this.
Perfect.
But if you're following my Twitter, you probably are not at Dreamforce right now, because who's looking at Twitter at Dreamforce?
Hopefully they're streaming those keynotes as well. So Commerce Cloud.
Yeah.
The lightning design, when we already talked about how Einstein evaluates the product listings, and gives you all the iterations. The last thing, for the recommendations for the best layout.
Yeah.
I had a question about that. I wonder if that is actually going to play into the next best action side of things at all, kind of how customer service plays into
Here's your next best layout?
Well, not next best layout per se, but after you go through and you come up, because he was very specific in his example. He's like, this is this one product. Here are all the iterations of this one thing. Next, after you do this, you also have to evaluate these different parts of your marketing campaign that are being controlled and designed within Salesforce, you know? Kind of using a spin on that NBA kind of, or next best action thing. Oh, are you texting? That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Someone's trying to. I'm multitasking today at Dreamforce.
That's fine. That's fine. Should we talk about the fiber optic Louis Vuitton bag that kind of, to me, it looked like something that was made somewhere deep in the heart of China and was repurchased before the show at a Goodwill?
No.
Okay, I won't bring that up then.
No, because no. Shame on you.
Shame on. Okay.
That is so cynical. It was perfect.
I'll take it. How about Tableau?
You know, I like Tableau. I'm going to admit that. I like Tableau as a software. I think what it can do is pretty neat. The thing that I was struggling with was Salesforce had already purchased Wave Analytics, right, which is now Einstein Analytics. So why did they need Tableau? And the only thing that I can see that is different was that kind of like natural language to get the data visualizations that you wanted.
Yep.
Right? Yep. That was by far the most different thing that I've seen, but I still don't quite understand why.
Yeah, what I really liked was that you could enter text asking it a question, and based on the text that you entered, it would...
Yeah, it's natural language.
Yeah, right. That was really cool. That along with their 7 magic words, we help people see and understand data. That was cool. That wraps up really succinctly what Tableau's intended to do. But hey, there's a free trial of Tableau.
Is there a free trial?
There's a free trial. That's what they said. You can go out to their website.
I didn't hear that.
Sign up for a free trial, which makes me think, hey, I wonder if I could roll that into my dev org and kick the tires a little bit before I went back to my IT organization and said this is something that I would advise on, you know?
MuleSoft.
Okay.
Should we talk MuleSoft?
Yeah.
So the whole thing was the second part of the keynote, which is all about data and integration.
Yeah.
And, they were talking about the Customer 360 truth profile, right? Of being able to find everything about a single person.
Yep.
And I have 2 takeaways from that. The first one is, hey, look at that. That was really cool that they took 177,000 records and bring it down to, 79K unique individuals. I want to know what are they using as a unique identifier to know that this person's unique versus I'm Brian Kwong with a different email address.
Right.
That I'm curious about. The second thing that I'm kind of curious about with MuleSoft is Mark said that something was incorporated and free with the platform, but I didn't quite understand what he said was free. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to give MuleSoft away for free.
No, it was the SSOT, the single source of truth.
But the SSOT only works if you're integrating all the data.
So maybe he meant for existing MuleSoft customers, it's going to be an added feature that you're going to see. I don't know. But if you want to find out more,
go to a different keynote.
Right.
And to be fair, every single time they said, hey, we're going to give this away for free, half the time it doesn't happen for a year and a half or more because everyone has to catch up.
Right. So that Google or the Einstein doll.
Yeah.
The Einstein doll.
You're still hung up on the Einstein doll?
I'm still hung up on the Einstein doll. I really
Let it go.
Okay.
I mean, his hair lights up.
And did you notice the first time
it doesn't sound like Einstein?
Did you notice the first time it was white?
Yes, and the second time it was red.
I saw pink.
I saw red.
Yeah, from the viewing party I was at, it was pink. Yeah, that's okay though. I think that's soup to nuts on the keynote. If you want to find out more, there's obviously additional keynotes you can go to, and if you've been following Brian's, Twitters, then you know when and where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Replacement Mark, for being my co-host today for this episode.
You know what? Every time I play the role of Replacement Mark, I do walk away feeling smarter, a little bit more handsome, and kinder to animals and children.
As a Replacement Mark, you do look smarter and kinder to animals. And I'm kidding, Mark. I'm kidding. We love you. We miss you. I'm sad that you abandoned me.
That's all right.
And you know what? Now we're going to roll the outro. Mark, roll the outro. WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, and our intern this episode was
Ben Bolopue.
Do you know someone in our community that has shown expertise, leadership, generosity, and advocacy? Then you may want to nominate them as an MVP. The Salesforce MVP program is accepting nominations between now and December 9th, 2019. You can find links to a blog post that explains more of what's an MVP and how they get selected, as well as the link to nominate someone down in the show notes. So if you know of a great person, make sure you go out there before December 9th and put their nomination in. Thanks. And I want to say happy birthday, Libsyn. Libsyn is the hosting and distribution service that we use for our podcast. And if you want to give it a try, you can get a free month with the promo code PODMAGIC. That's PODMAGIC, all lowercase.
And you can be an intern too. Just follow us at WizardCast_pod on Twitter.
And you can also share pictures of us that you take at Salesforce events, and we'll get you added to the list as long as you share them on social media so we don't forget.
Have a joke, interview suggestion, or other comments? Let us know. You can call or leave a voice recording at 608-492-0321 or email wizardcast@thewizardnews.com.
And we will do another idea exchange highlight, and that's where we will review ideas on the idea exchange. If you got one you want us to talk about it, let us know.
Go to bit.ly/idea highlight to submit that idea to us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automatically.
And please post reviews on Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes, and share this episode. It helps others to hear what you just had to endure.
Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm not even sure you actually know the meaning of the word impugned.
I thought it was impugned until you corrected me.
Impugned?
Thanks for listening. Yeah, we can edit that out. Mark is doing all the work. Hi, Mark.